The midterms are shaping up to be an absolute disaster for the Democrats as they're poised to lose upwards of 80 seats. In this video, we're going to take a look at some of the latest projections. We're going to see how Democrats are already beginning to abandon their pathetically sinking ship in droves. And stick with me to the very end of this video when we look at the growing list of Democrat defections to the Republican Party like never before. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you. As always, Happy New Year to each and every one of you. I am your daily fake news antidote. As we each and every day, I provide patriotic analysis to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So if you haven't done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe. But before we begin, gang, as many of you know, we've recently launched a brand new initiative called Change America, which enables ordinary patriots to do extraordinary things. It's a program that makes it possible for anyone and everyone to help unseat rhinos just simply by doing their daily grocery shopping. It's absolutely amazing. You could back America First candidacies by simply going out to eat. And if you join our Change America campaign right now, you're going to get free complimentary tickets to our upcoming Patriot Live event on January 14th and 15th. So make sure to click on the link below right now to sign up or learn more about our Change America initiative. You're going to absolutely love it. All right, speaking of Change America, let's dive right in here. You know, the new year isn't starting off very well for bumbling Biden and the Democrats, I gotta say. And that's because we're beginning to see what some are calling literally a seismic shift taking place in our politics, where it's becoming increasingly likely that the nation as a whole is ready to move massively to the right in terms of our politics in the near months. And we're seeing the shift begin to take effect in dramatic fashion with what the pundits are saying. Now, take a listen to Dick Morris on Newsmax and what he predicts for the 2022 midterms and beyond.
Explain what you mean here by a political earthquake and who should be in trouble.
Well, when you say it won't be pretty, it'll be gorgeous as far as I'm concerned, and the Republican Party and conservatives. But I think we're looking at an order of magnitude change in Congress as this year. I think that we're going to win control of both houses. I think the gains in the House will be in the neighborhood of 60 to 80 seats. That would make it the most, or second or third most in American history. I think we'll pick up 5 seats in the Senate and control it by 55 to 45. And I think that the year will show Biden's approval rating dropping even to 30% and maybe lower. And the Democrats basically deciding to get rid of him and not run him in 24 and possibly replace him earlier. I think that the country has just completely had it with his policies. And I think the problem is that that his policies will get worse because the inflation is seated here, the incredible growth of the money supply, way beyond what it should be, I think is going to bring in horrible inflation, which will be terrible, but it'll ultimately have a very good effect. And I also think, by the way, that Trump is going to run, and I think he's going to win in 24.
So there you have it. Right now, we're looking at a cataclysmic loss of the Democrats on the magnitude of 60 to 80 seats in November, which will set up the return of the king in 2024, which, of course, is President Trump and his reelection, which you can imagine. I mean, the hysterics coming from the mainstream. Can you imagine the rants coming from MSNBC's Joy Reid were that to happen? I mean, she's going to have a stroke on live television right in front of everyone on election night 2024. It'll be awesome. Now, it may be tempting to think that Morris is just giving us some right-wing wishful thinking with regard to the magnitude of Republican wins around the corner, but his projections are actually being echoed by a number of pundits on the left as well. A New York Democrat by the name of Laura Curran appeared on Fox News' Waters World with Brian Kilmeade over the weekend, and she blasted her party as on the road to absolute ruin. If you don't know, Laura Curran was the Democrat county executive for Nassau County in New York, where Democrats outnumber Republicans by 100,000 registered voters. But to the shock of politicians and pundits alike, Curran was one of the Democrat casualties last November when Republicans swept the off-year elections in Virginia, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, and as it turns out, in Nassau County New York, the number of Democrat defeats, from Terry McAuliffe from Virginia to State Senate President Steve Sweeney in New Jersey, were stunning. And this is what Curran had to say about it.
Laura, have you figured out why you lost? Did it really come out from Washington?
I think it really has. Unfortunately, my party, the Democratic Party, just conveys weakness right now. It almost feels like elder abuse with what's going on with President Biden. He has a hard time putting a sentence together. I think everyone gets nervous, listening to him talk if he's going to mess up. And what we need always, and especially now, is someone who exudes confidence and competence, someone who sets a reassuring tone, and we're not getting that at the top right now. And unfortunately, I think your previous guest, Karl Rove, is absolutely right. I think it's going to be a bloodbath for the Democrats in the midterm. So, the question is, as a Democrat, I think it's really important to have a strong two-party system. I think it's good for democracy. I don't think it should be one-party rule either way. But unfortunately, it seems like we're giving the Republicans ammunition just to shoot us because we exude this weakness. People want to be reassured that government is there for them, not telling them what to do, but making sure the roads are in good shape, making sure the sewage is properly run, making sure that public safety is where it should be. That's what people expect. And unfortunately, my party is not delivering this right now.
So there you have it from the lips of a Democrat. It's going to be a bloodbath. 2022 is going to be a bloodbath precisely because the Democrats appear so pathetic, so weak. They're literally drunk with power. That's a very good imagery. They want to be dictators, but they're too incompetent to follow through with that desire, with Biden and Harris stumbling at the top. Their incompetent, incontinent so-called leader spends more time taking naps here in Delaware than he does leading the nation. The Democrats are going to pay for it big time. And we could see that more and more Democrats are coming to terms with this day of reckoning. They recognize that there's little future for a party so pathetic and weak as the Democrats are right now. So they're doing one of two things. They're jumping ship in one of two ways. Either Democrats are retiring in record numbers, or they're switching parties. In terms of retirements, we're now approaching nearly 25 Democrats who are out of here. They are gone. Remember, the GOP already has enough safe seats through redistricting alone to win back control of the House in 2022. The New York Times did a recent analysis of Republican redistricting efforts across the country, and they concluded that the Republicans have already reconfigured enough districts to add 5 new safe seats, which is enough for them to take over the House, of course, assuming nothing else changes in the meantime. So as we speak, Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy is already calling Nancy impeachment Pelosi a lame duck speaker. I mean, things are so bad that Pelosi has yet to even announce she's going to run again for her seat in San Francisco. That's why McCarthy is saying she's basically governing as if she were on a farewell tour. Her days in American politics are quickly and decisively coming to an end, and thank God for that. So you're seeing massive numbers of retirements on the one hand, and in addition, we're beginning to see a number of defections where Democrats are switching to the GOP. The latest defections coming from North Las Vegas Mayor John Lee. He has announced that he is indeed switching to the Republican Party because, in his words, he can no longer stand with an elitist and socialist party like the Democrats. And speaking of elitists, did you see the latest with AOC? She's getting hammered for videos showing her hanging out in a packed Miami bar over the weekend, completely maskless. Everyone else is maskless. They're all partying, having a great time while COVID cases are surging throughout her district in New York. It's definitely being framed as her Marie Antoinette moment, and rightly so. So more and more Democrats have had it, and they, like this northern Las Vegas mayor, are switching parties. He is but the latest in a series of rather high-profile defections. Victor Jimenez, who's a former spokesman for the Democrat D.C. mayor, he has officially left the Democratic Party. He switched to the GOP, and he cited things like open borders, record inflation, mass unemployment, skyrocketing crime, and defunding the police as the primary reasons why he switched parties. We've also seen Texas State Representative Ryan Gillen, who, just so you know, it's a safe seat. He won his seat by nearly 17 points in the 2020 election, but he's officially switched parties from Democrat to Republican. And again, he cited the Democrats' chaos at the border, and they're doubling down on defunding the police as his reasons for making the switch. And so all this is to say, it does look like the noose is tightening around the Democrats. They're poised to suffer a massive bloodbath in the midterms just months from now. And that may very well set the stage for the return of the king himself in 2024. It's certainly going to be exciting to watch for sure. Butter that popcorn. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video on here's the title, The Last Days of CNN. You're going to absolutely love it. So make sure to click on the link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.